Welcome to our retirement, folks.
What a kitchen, what?
Yeah, oh, me. Morning, folks.
Morning. He's taking photographs of himself instead of turning it on. Yes. Technology.
Oh.
You've been getting on all right though with technology, haven't you? You've been sorting things out.
Yeah, I have. Oh, yeah. While we're on with that, Andy, thanks for your email and your very kind offer. I just want to think about that because I've sent you a link to my website, Andy, for you to check it out, and I've got it up and running, working brilliant. And I've got originals on there as well as prints. So well, I suppose there would be a way of doing it. The way you suggested it, but I'm still thinking about that. I'll let you know. But meanwhile, if you can send me the one of the poppies, mate, so I can send that off. There's someone who wants to buy that. And then see how we go. See how I think about it. Don't know what else to say about that. Yeah. But yeah, great help. Yeah, we're going to talk about prices, but I won't do that here. I think I'm all right.
Yeah, seems all right.
Yeah. While I'm on, I'll show you this. So wait while and this is a pastel drawing, print from a pastel drawing of a puddle in a road. Seems a strange subject, doesn't it? But puddle on Tinker's Lane. Can you make it out? It's just a puddle on a road. There's a road here, and that's a puddle there, reflecting these trees in puddle.
Yeah, that's better.
You see that?
Yeah. I see
Puddle on Tinker's Lane. It ain't on my website yet. I'll have to put it on. So I'll put it on later today, maybe. Okay? People like the way you talk to Ernie.
Oh, do they? Why?
It's calming.
Calming.
I said I wish you'd talk to me like that.
Oh, beautifully. He's always wanting loving, that.
Of course. A win.
A win. A bit of loving.
Well, why do you think all these songs
are about love?
Aye.
Are they all dedicated to people that they're to lovers out there?
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Nothing like that. I'm thinking about McCartney's song, A Silly Love Song.
Ah. Yeah, I can't think of words. Maybe not that I ever knew words anyway. Some of that.
A silly love song. What's wrong with that? I'd like to know. Well, you've got enough love to spare.
Yeah, I have. We were watching Tracy last night. She was trying to do these ink gel. Not
the prints, but from I don't know what about them, like a gel pad that you put
Ink on.
ink or paint? No, paint.
Paint, not ink.
You put paint on it.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
she didn't quite figure it out. And then she did a lino cut. And I don't know.
The two things that she's produced, they look really good. She's put them in room on floor.
Oh.
We liked them both.
Did she do a bit more then after I went upstairs?
I think they were ones you saw.
All right.
They
were
sort of
interesting.
yellowy
Yeah.
one. But I think she discovered that she was trying to use a photograph that she'd done of you and Stanley, didn't she? But it won't come out.
That photograph that's on front of my book.
Yeah, she was trying to use that. But she did. Then she used a photograph out of an old book.
Body art. Mick and Jane gave it to me.
Yeah, and we'd put it in tool room, and she'd fished it out, and she was using a photograph that she'd found in there, and that took really well, I thought.
Yeah.
So she's wondering whether the new magazines, because she did try it with a new magazine, is different ink, different paper, it's thinner, and
they won't take.
They won't take. So she's wondering if it's the old magazines that have taken on there.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know that she's thinking of framing them and putting them up.
Yeah.
Because they look quite nice. Yeah.
Oh.
Both
maybe.
me and Trevor said they look good, and you did.
I've got to go up and get them.
I can do.
This is one.
There's a figure in there.
Can you see
If you
it?
can see it. Can't remember what
Which
I said
one?
it was.
That's the other.
We thought they were pretty good for
Yeah.
first attempts, didn't we?
Yeah. So all art goes on.
Oh, yeah.
All art goes on here, isn't it?
There's... Is that like... It's not a screen printing, is it?
No. No.
I don't understand it.
No, I didn't. I was mystified by it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had quite a productive day yesterday. I filmed it really. I never think.
No. Well, she was down here messing about, wasn't she?
Just experimenting.
Yeah, trying to see what she could come up with.
Yeah.
Just as a hobby.
The other thing I want to mention was the Spanish Inquisition we've been getting from Melvin.
Oh, right. That's what Melvin is, but not our Melvin, I don't think.
No, not our Melvin. Wanting to know a lot of things, especially he was asking me a difficult question actually, which I struggled to answer. Was Tracy inadvertently brought up, exposed to other people, spending a lot of time
with other people?
Pat said, does he mean babysitters, people where, or just people in general?
And, artists and
Yeah.
People who came to gallery to look.
Yeah, because we used to have every exhibition that we had lasted a month, And the day before the exhibition opened on the Friday night, we used to have a preview from 7 until 9 at night. And people used to come out a mailing list, and we used to put on food and wine and that, didn't we? And then we used to go up to a pub afterwards. Not Tracy.
No.
At that point, Tracy would have only been about 3 or 4.
No, she were older than that.
Well, she were only 18 months when we moved here.
Yeah.
And that were in 75.
Yeah.
74 we moved here. We opened in 75.
Yeah.
And so the gallery ran from 75 to about 81. So she can't have been any older than 7, 6.
7, I think, yeah.
6 or 7.
When we used to come back from pub with people.
Yeah, we did.
And have a bit of a party going on afterwards. And she used to, because there were a chap at End who used to come, and his wife, and he were a builder, and he used to pretend to drop his money on the floor, you know, and she'd be picking it up, and he'd say, you can keep it.
Yeah,
coins.
I remember that.
You remember?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
she were obviously old enough that because it were a Friday night, we let her stay up.
Right.
Or she'd come down, I
Right.
don't know. But as we said before, she were a pretty good little girl, and she used to just take herself off to bed when she were ready, which wouldn't be late. It'd be, 8ish or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember. About time you'd think that a young'un of her age ought to be in bed.
Be in bed, yeah.
I mean, we had all these rules in his head.
We didn't put them in place. Because when Tracy were a baby, before we moved to Robley, she had a convulsion, didn't she?
She did. She'd got a cold summer, and we brought her into bed with us. And apparently,
that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, because the temperature went sky high, and she had this convulsion, and we had to rush her off to St James's, didn't we? Where they kept her in. I don't know how many days they kept her in, but they took her temperature every hour all through night, and it disrupted her sleep system. And when we brought her home, we had a right job getting her to go to sleep after that.
She used to scream.
She did.
Yeah.
And eventually I had to lock Pat in the room, not let her up, because she kept going up to her. And I had to say, no, you're not going up to her. Leave her, let her scream. Let's scream herself to sleep. It's the only way to get her out of this. So that's what we did. They'll all be going, oh, cruel.
It did work.
It did work, of course it did, yeah.
Yeah.
But
and she calmed herself down, didn't she?
Yeah, and she were all right again after that. I mean, she did. Don't forget, we were running an art gallery, and we were running a milk round. We had to go out collecting money. We were at it. We just seemed to be always working. So we did have to take Tracy down to Grandma's when we were doing things like that. Yeah, she went. And don't forget, we live on a main road. There were no other kids, so there were nobody around here for Tracy to play with. So she was better off down there at Grandma's for the weekend. But I mean, she went to school like anybody else, came home on a night. I mean, we used to rehearse when we played in the band. We used to rehearse in our bedroom where we sleep now. We used to rehearse in there, and Melvin would bring Sue and Nancy round. And Elizabeth. And they used to play together.
They'd all play together.
Together while we were rehearsing.
Yeah.
And
So she did have quite a bit of contact with other people.
Yeah,
didn't
she did. Yeah, she did. Yeah.
And if we put performances on a night,
she saw them.
She saw them, and I suppose she got a bit influenced with them, because she always remembers the girl with the parasol with the parrot.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does. Yeah, she remembers quite a lot of them.
Yeah.
Happenings that we had in the gallery.
Yes, she does.
Yeah. She was a bit miffed when we moved to Waddingham in Lincolnshire. But that period, she was 11 when we moved to Lincolnshire, and then when she was 16, she went to Sheffield. Well, she went to North Links for a year in Scunny. She did graphic art and design, graphic art in North Links College in Scunny for a year. And then she went to Sheffield for what, 2 years?
Yeah, window display.
Did window display. And then she went to Hull to do museum and exhibition design. But she said the course was rubbish. She says it only exists on paper, does this course. And she decided to apply to become a Council for Service a CSV, Council for Service Volunteers in Keighley, for an organisation called ILK, Independent Living in Keighley, where the idea was to physically handicapped, we don't use that word anymore, other people, physically disabled people who were in institutions, the idea was to get them out of there and into a place of their own, so that they could live independently with a carer
that they chose,
and so that's what she did. That as a volunteer for a year, but after a year they offered her a job, and she stayed with them 10 years.
Yeah.
And one of the people involved was Asia, who was disabled, and she worked for prison service, and Tracy finished up being her personal carer for donkey's years.
Yeah.
Until eventually she died. Asia died because she was on dialysis and all sorts.
Yeah, because being in a wheelchair.
It's our kid.
Oh.
So he's come back to that.
Yeah.
That were our kid.
Trying to arrange a night out with them. But he says that Jane's not feeling too good at the moment, so
yeah.
Can we leave it a bit longer?
We need to get out somewhere this week.
Yeah, I think we do.
We're getting stir crazy. Anyway, I tell you, I wanted to. We were talking about Tracy, weren't we?
That she'd gone to ILK and ended up working for Asia.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't know. I think Melvin were referring to her childhood.
Her childhood.
I think maybe she did have a bit of a different kind of a childhood to most kids, yeah. I think, yeah, probably a bit, yeah. Because we did do some strange things, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We usually did things, if we went out somewhere, it'd be a bit weekend, wasn't it? Or
she was like in Waddingham. She was 5 years before from moving to Waddingham to leaving home. She'd been about 5 years.
Yeah.
And during that time, she made friends in the village in Waddingham.
Yeah.
And she had her own little ways of earning money.
Yeah,
quite
jobs.
Independently. Yeah. yeah, she was well prepared to leave home, unlike a certain party I could mention. Anyway, folks, I don't know whether
I think we've gone through it.
we're out shopping today.
Yeah.
Again, comes round, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm not spending as much as I did
No.
last week.
No, I'm not. No, we're not. We're definitely not. That were mad.
That took all my money I had now for the rest of the week.
Anyway, regarding my drawings and my art and that, there's a link in the description below, and at the end of the video, there's a link if you want to go and have a look at that. But otherwise, all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Bye.
Bye.